Now, I've been a professional sports bettor for 22 years. People see the supercars and they think, wow, it's easy, I can do it. I want to share with you guys a story from my first year of sports betting. Now, I've been a professional for over 22 years and life has been good, guys. Got supercars, nice garage, mansion, all that stuff. But in the beginning, it was very, very challenging. And I'm concerned with all the noise out there in the sports betting world that people think, oh, it's easy. You just bet a few games and make millions of dollars. And it ain't like that. I'm going to tell you guys a story from year one. Now, if you don't know my backstory, guys, I've told it a few times, but I'll give you a quick synopsis. I'm a young guy. Before I became a professional, I took less than $1,000. I turned in it over $20,000. And in 2 days, I blew it up. I lost every penny in my sports betting account. And to be honest, like close to every penny I had to my name. And I walked around like a zombie. Like I felt like I had just relived my nightmare for the 20th time, blowing up my bankroll, but this time it was like real money. When you're 19 years old and you lose $20,000 in 2 days, it affects you big time. So I was pretty much determined that I was gonna quit sports betting, and I'm happy I didn't, but I made that decision that I was gonna do it one more time, and I was gonna put like a big chunk of change that I was hoping I would not blow up, but I promised myself, if I blow this money, I am done with sports betting forever. Thankfully, I did things the right way. I ended up working 3 jobs and I was delivering pizzas at night, anything to get money in my sports betting account. And I had a good year of sports betting, and I was just like determined not to do anything stupid. Like just put my bets in, follow bankroll management, don't do anything stupid. Do not blow your bankroll up. So I was very fortunate that I didn't do anything dumb. Went out to Vegas. I was now 21 years old. It was like a year and a half later after I blew my bankroll up. I went out to Vegas. I had 80 grand and I went on a run, and I got to 100,000 like that. And that was the point at 100,000 where I promised myself I was going to quit my jobs, become a professional sports bettor, and go with it. Now, I tried to talk myself out of it. I really did. I tried to talk myself out of it. I got to 100,000. I'm like, I was doubting. I'm like, you can't do this. Like, go back, go to your jobs. But like something inside me was like, no, you gotta see this through. Like, this is your passion. This is what you want to do. So I went with it. Now, the worst thing about this industry is the supercars and the yachts and the girls and all this stuff that people show. It's like, oh, look how successful you can be. Just like follow this. Sports betting can be get rich. There's no doubt about it. I've done it. But it's get rich eventually. There's no such thing as get rich quick. Okay? So you got to do things the right way. But I want to tell you how challenging year one was. So I've started my sports betting career. I'm betting $1,000 a game. I got a $100,000 unit size, and I had a good first year, but I'm paying myself $2,000 a month. Now, if you're living in Vegas, $2,000 a month does not go very far, guys. And I can tell you from personal experience, it was tough. It was very, very tough, which is probably why I resent so much that people come out and be like, oh, get rich quick, bet these big parlays. It was tough. Okay, I was staying at some of the most seedy, awful places you could ever think of in Vegas. I was eating 99-cent shrimp cocktails down at the Golden Gate. They had $1.99 soup. I had a waitress there. They took mercy on my soul after a couple months of like literally going in there and eating 99-cent shrimp cocktails and $1.99 chicken noodle soups. She gave me a box of crackers because I always used to ask for extra crackers and take them back to my room. If I got hungry later in the night, I would have a couple crackers. Like, that's how lean I was living so that I could add money to my bankroll and not overspend. Now, my biggest fear at this time was that I was going to fuck up again. Straight up. That was my biggest fear, that I've come so far and I promised myself I'm never going to deviate from bankroll management. I'm never going to chase. And thank God I didn't. But I was terrified. Every day I would wake up and I was just, my first thought was like, don't do it. Like, no matter what happens today, don't do it. Don't chase your losses. Stick to bankroll management. And I can't explain it because I knew that I would, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, you have to not do it, okay? Because like in the back of my mind, I'm like, I can't fuck up again, okay? I can't go back to my family who I've told I'm gonna be a professional sports bettor, right? And my mom was not on board. My dad fully supported this, but I don't want to go home with my tail between my legs saying like, yeah, I blew my bankroll up again. I fucked up. Like I was terrified that I was going to make a mistake. So I was really fortunate that I had a fantastic year. I was fully expecting to have this big downturn. I was going to like just have to talk myself into not chasing, but I didn't have a bad year. Like it was a lot of like up and then sideways and a little retrace and then another up. And I ended up winning about 130,000 or so in the first year. But the crazy thing is I hit my lowest point of my life, I feel like, in one night in an absolute shithole motel in Vegas. So you'd probably expect at this point in the story that like I'd lost a bunch of days in a row and things weren't going well, but no, it was the exact opposite. Like things were going well. I won a bunch of money. I go back to my hotel and like I'm absolutely beat. Like I've been burning the candle at both ends for days and days and days, not eating right, and I'm like completely zonked, like trying to fall asleep and I can't sleep. Like I just can't fall asleep. And out of nowhere, this wave of emotion comes over me and I just started crying. Like I'm 21 years old, I'm out in Vegas. I felt like all this stress and all this burden and like being hard on myself, saying like, don't fuck up, because it's always in the back of my mind. Like, don't be that guy you were a couple years ago, blow your bankrolls up. Like you go home with your tail tucked between your legs, and the emotion of it all just flooded over me. And I cried and I cried and I cried and I couldn't stop. I could not stop crying. Now, I literally cried myself to sleep. And the crazy thing was like, I was trying to do it quietly because like I was staying in a very shitty place. It was like 3 o'clock or 3:30 in the morning in Vegas. There was people, like I could hear them outside drinking and laughing. And I'm like breaking down, losing my shit inside my room. And I eventually fell asleep. And the next morning I woke up and I just felt like all the weight that I'd been carrying with me was gone. I felt reborn. I just felt, that was the first time I felt like I'm gonna make this work. I'm gonna be successful doing this. Now, this isn't a story that I've shared before. And to be honest, it's a little embarrassing for me, right? Go out there and break down crying as a kid, but like, yeah, I know you're 21. I still felt like a kid, okay? I grew up in a small town and I didn't have a lot of exposure to the kind of life that Vegas was throwing in front of me. And it's a little embarrassing, but I want to share that with you guys because there's so much noise and so much nonsense out there, and people like try to make it look easy. Like, just follow these plays and you'll make millions of dollars. Well, look, you can, but it isn't easy, okay? You're going to have to go through some very challenging times. I was very, very, very fortunate that in the beginning, I had some good years. I had a couple of fantastic years where I didn't have a lot of significant downturns. And I was fortunate when I did have my significant downturns, which we all have in sports betting, that I was mentally okay with it. And I had already felt like, yeah, I'm going to be a success doing this. So I was okay with losing. That's a big part of sports betting, being okay with it. Maybe if it happened in my first week or first 2 weeks in Vegas and I had a big downturn, I don't know if I'd be here telling this story today. I really don't. But, for the people that want to make this look easy, guys, I can tell you, you can make a bunch of money, but I promise you it won't be easy. There's a lot of emotion involved in sports betting, and you only become numb to that down the road, okay? Not in the beginning, guys. So again, you can do this. Put your mind to it. Believe in yourself. You can make it happen.